Greetings in the name of Yahushua Mashiach, our King, our High Priest, Kohen forever through the order of Melchizedek, who intercedes on our behalf to the Ancient of Days, El Shaddai Yahuwah. My name is Melech Shalomo, and I'm going to do a little technical analysis here on ES Futures. Today is the 29th of October 2024, 11:29 p.m. Eastern Time. All right, so let's just see here. Right, so we had buyers coming here around 5801, created these series of higher lows, right? Next higher low was 5823.25, 5822.50, somewhere around there. And then the next one after that was 5835.50, right? So that was the close. That was around the close last Friday. So as we open here this week, we found sellers took control into today's session. So let's see here where sellers really started to take control. So this was Monday at 6 a.m., right? So we started to get that sell-off. And then into Tuesday, we found support here back at these this buy zone right here at around 58.37. Right, so after that, we started to move back up. We have heavy buying right here, heavy volume. Let me just point that out. Heavy volume. So from a VPA perspective, this reversal here is valid. We have some wicks here to the downside, buyers stepping in. But then at the end of this session right here, today, we started having these selling wicks, right? So from a VPA perspective, volume price analysis perspective, I'm looking at this as, okay, this is heavy volume right here. And we have a selling wick and a selling candle, right? But we're getting buyers propping it up. We have a wick to the downside as well, to the bottom as well, right? So we have two wicks. This candle right here is a telling candle as well, where this is some take profit and distribution going on, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 selling wicks, and we have buyers just propping it up here as we come back to test around this area, right? So this is actually the weekly session VPOC, 58.69.75 right now. So that's where we're getting buyers propping up price, right? I believe they're taking profit around this area here. So let me just bring back this into focus. From the same area we started to sell, and around this area from the prior week, we have heavy selling, right? This is the area where I think the longs are trying to take profit at this area, right? This is a key area for them. Now, as we open in the ETH here, we have something called, from the quantum trading indicators, this is called a dynamic price pivot, right? So these pop up here, like this arrow on top here, this red arrow, it pops up at key levels of reversal, right? So what we have here is a reversal pattern, this engulfing pattern right here. Now this is in the ETH with low volume, so I gotta kind of take it with a grain of salt, but it is materializing. We are getting sellers in a sell zone area, right? Previous selling right here. We're getting the same sellers right now. If this was some in the RTH session, I would definitely look to go short, but can't really take an overnight short right now. So throwing on the floor pivots, we have the weekly mid right here, back at this kind of around this top level right here, and this breakout level and this retest level. So that's the weekly mid. And just below that, we have the bottom central pivot at 58.25 and the central pivot, right? So if we are coming back, we might come back to the mean of the floor pivots at 58.34.25, Right now we're currently at 58.8175, right? Our floor pivot target for the bulls is going to be 59.4425. That's floor pivot R1. Right, so throwing on the Camarias now. This is the weekly Camaria R4 here. It's resting at 59.09, right? So we're shying away from getting up to that level right now. We're showing heavy selling following follow through to the downside. Follow through of the reversal pattern right here with this engulfing candle. Let me just use the arrows, right? So pivot indicator, engulfing candle, and we're getting some follow through. Now we have the weekly Camaria R4 here at 58.7749. Let me just make sure because there's other red stuff over there. 58.7750, right? So 58.7750 weekly Camaria R4. And I just wanted to point out as well at the end of the session, this is where price kept coming back to, right? So the wicks are wicking above this level here, and we're coming back roughly kind of around weekly Camaria R4. R3, sorry. Right? So this might be a breakout retest of this level. If we're supposed to go bullish, we're supposed to stay above this weekly Camaria R3, do a little reversal pattern right here, and just keep going. All right, so let's see. Wait, hold on. Throwing on the volume point of control, right? So you see that's the weekly volume point of control right there, right? Heavy congestion around this area. This could be a retest area as well, right? Come back and probably find the buyers that were propping up price right here, because this was definitely distribution right here. So those were weekly levels. So let's see what's going on the 5-minute chart, the intraday levels. So we're coming up. We almost got to floor pivot R1 on the daily. We had the reversal pattern. So let's see what a breakdown of this reversal pattern is. So we actually getting two pivot indicators right here, right? Reversal candle. We have another pivot right here. Follow through to the downside, breaking the low of this consolidation distribution, right? See the wicks to the top side. We have buying pressure going in right there under VRSI, volume relative strength indicator. So volume is the buying pressure is going in, no follow through. We're getting follow through to the sell side. It's flipping over to the sell side, and we're getting selling pressure. We broke down from Camaria R3 already, right? So that's on the intraday level. Right, so far in the ETH, the VPOC is at 58.8475, right? So the Camarias is actually in an overlapping higher value relationship, 2-day relationship, which is giving it a moderately bullish thesis, right? Or bullish outlook, moderately bullish. So that was Camaria S3 from the prior day. It has moved up now to 58.28, right? So that's Camaria S3 right there. This is the central pivot, 58.64. Top central, 58.67.50. 58.60.75 is bottom central pivot. So that's the pivot range right there. We have the Camaria central pivot R1 and S1 right here. So that's the range right there. And this is yesterday's settlement, right? 58.71. So it's looking like we want to come back around here to this VPOC, weekly VPOC session. Around this level here at 58.69.75, around yesterday's close, and around the mean of the market basically, right? So we're doing something like a mean reversion right now. All right, let me just throw this on right here. Right, so these are my VWAP bands. This is part of my strategy where I take the breakdown of pivot levels that align with these VWAP deviations like -1, -2. Right, let me just point that out. -1, -2 VWAP deviation, +1, +2 VWAP deviation, and that's the VWAP right there. So we have heavy selling through VWAP. I like to see that on, like, if I'm in a short trade, like if I took this breakdown right here, right? I don't have any pivot level to align with this though. So I usually try to keep these trades aligning with a pivot level. Don't have a pivot level here, but it's a nice little setup right here. We have a nice clean breakdown. Stop it right there to show maybe a little fight, a little retest, push back up, testing this level here. Then we get the follow through, heavy selling through VWAP, right? So this is a nice place for me to, if I see the momentum at VWAP, instead of closing out, I would add to the trade here. Or maybe add on the retest of this level right here. We don't get a follow through like a reversal at VWAP. Add to the short. And then come down here and probably I would take profit here if I did take a short here, right? Right here, this setup right now is, I wouldn't really take this setup because this isn't like I take shorts at the upper deviations. I don't really like to take shorts at the lower deviations. Those are for reversals, right? So my bowling green strategy is basically getting, like right here, if we do get a reversal, get a little consolidation between this level here, those two deviation bands, and then take the breakout and then go long from there. Probably it's a floor pivot R1 and R4. So that's basically my bowling green strategy. If I'm taking the short here with a pivot lining up with this level, it's a black sun strategy. All right, let's just take a look at Bookmap here for a second. Let's see where some of this liquidity is lying. Right, so we have heavy liquidity down here at 58.15.25. Right, so I'm gonna actually label that. Right, so in the RTA session now, I'm gonna know where big liquidity is just from my notes over here in these columns right here. I have these pivot levels. This is the daily pivot setup. This is the higher time frame, like the weekly pivot levels, and this is for volume, right? So yesterday's VPOC is here. I think I have, did I put, I didn't put the weekly session. So let me do that right now. Right, 58, 69, 75. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do it manually. right? So along with labeling it inside this column here, I like to put a horizontal line on the heat map as well. So right here. All right, so yeah, that's how I do my setup. That's how I label my bookmap chart. Just to have a idea of where liquidity is. Let me just take these off. Right, so I have an idea where liquidity is in the ETH session. Well, heavy liquidity, and this right here, this big liquidity here. Right now, they're just pulled. Right. So even though they pulled right now, I'm gonna leave this here just to know like this was a prior area of interest for someone, right? For them to pull 300 contracts, who knows why they do what they do, but maybe they don't think they're gonna get filled anymore, right? So as long as I know, well, this was a prior area of interest for liquidity, that's a good thing. So what we're seeing right now, if you're looking on the sub chart as well, we have this right here that's buying icebergs. And you can see on the chart right there, we have buying icebergs supporting price right now. Right. So even though we have selling, we have buyers coming into proper price. Right. So maybe it's just a retest of the weekly Camarilla artery, as I was saying before. This is also yesterday's VPOC around this level here, that blue. I labeled that just like the previous week's VPOC. So that's yesterday's VPOC. And we're just kind of sailing above that right now. So buyers are stepping in to secure their positions or add to their positions, you know. If we look at the volume though, the volume is mostly selling, right? So I have it broken up into total volume where it shows it's not gonna just be like a purple or fuchsia candle. It's going to show the ratio of the volume. So we have heavy selling, a little buying there, right? Most of the candles are like that. This one is kind of halfway. This one is similar to this one right here. So mostly selling volume, and then I have the bubbles are also split up in that way as well. It's not really delta, it's more total volume. So I get to see the ratio of the sellers compared to the buyers. Right? So we had more buyers right there, no follow through. This was more buyers, kind of halfway right here. Then the sellers are coming back in. And as soon as that happened, we're getting the iceberg starting to execute to try and prop up price. Right? And this iceberg here is still executing. Right? So you see that line going across, that means it's still executing. So this T right here means transacted. This one was executed. I believe the T is transacted. And C means cancelled. And if it has D next to it, that means detected. Alright, y'all. So yeah, that's my little breakdown. I'm gonna see tomorrow. Let's see. Let me try and pull back up. Let's see what possible setup I could have here tomorrow. So if it's an overlapping higher value, buyers are looking to try and step in. Maybe they're taking some profit up here. Let's say we open around somewhere around these VPOC levels, like the weekly session VPOC 58, 69, 75, or we open somewhere around the mean. We start getting support. I could take some reversals off of these lower deviations. And if we do really sell off here, let's see, Camarilla S3. This is where I really want to catch like a reversal with like a lower deviation, catch a bowling green strategy around this area here, around 58.58, right? If we do break down from this level here, it's coming into a support zone. I have this labeled here as a support zone from the 1 hour chart. So even here is like maybe you'll get like a V kind of reversal where buyers would step in here heavy again. This is previous week's VPOC at 58.4675, and we have a high volume node right here as well, right? And it's looking like this was overnight low yesterday as well. Yeah, looks like it. So yeah, this was overnight low yesterday. Yeah, and that's basically my setup. Maybe a reversal here at the central pivot. If it comes back all the way to Camarilla S3, take a bowling green right here. And if we do hold up, and let's say we start getting support at R1 in the RTA session, if we come and we start breaking above R3, like let's say we break above R3, retest, hold above R3, then I'd look to go long. Alright, here also is Malek Shalomo, and that was my technical analysis on and trade setup for tomorrow, which is gonna be the 30th of October for the ES futures. Alright, y'all. So I'm gonna see y'all tomorrow, and actually I'm gonna do like my trading off of Bookmap entirely right now because I set up where I could actually trade off of Bookmap, right? So I'm gonna be taking these trades off of directly off of Bookmap. So that should be good for like doing my reviews and trade recaps and stuff like that. All right, y'all. So it's let me just point this out here. So this is Trader Map Lite. This is the filtering service that Bookmap uses to filter out those if you notice, maybe if you look at like a level 2 and you don't have Bookmap, you might see bracketing orders that kind of bracket price. I don't know how far they are away from price, but they kind of just bracket price all day. And this is like a filtering service where they get to filter out that activity, right? So this is kind of cool where you get to filter out those kind of bracketing orders and see a purer book. You know what I'm saying? All right, y'all. So it's Malek Shalomo. Y'all trade safe and stay blessed.